let's call it what it is. There's a lot of people that won't admit this. I'm going to admit it. I was a bit misinformed. Let's call it what it is. And that pressure emanating from my community, I'm tired of it. I think that's one of the reasons you see me sound. Patrick Bet-David alluded to that as well, talking about me. And they're right. They're right. Because with Obama in 2008, I knew I had the pleasure of knowing Senator McCain. I had my show, quite frankly, on ESPN2. I interviewed him for an hour, and he had kept in touch throughout the years. And there was only one reason I didn't vote for him. Because there was no way that a black man was going to be the Democratic nominee for the first time in American history, and I was going to go to the polls and pull that lever for somebody else. That was not happening. Now, in 2012, I could feel differently. But 2008, because I had this conversation with many conservatives, I said, I got my guy, my friend that's a Republican to vote for Barack Obama. I'm like, I said, they've had 43 presidents that had the opportunity to mess up. Can we get one? Let's see what he does. And
I absolutely understand that.
And that's totally totally. But John McCain was such a decent, good man in my eyes, and my personal communication with him. There isn't another liberal alive that could have ran against him that I would have voted for ahead of John McCain. It had to be somebody as special in my eyes as Barack Obama. Kamala Harris was somewhat similar from the standpoint she was a black woman. I thought that the Democrats would have probably lose the House or the Senate, if not both. And my desire to have order, to dissipate chaos, the chaos that I assumed would be forthcoming in a Trump administration, along with the fact that here was this woman, this black woman, that finally had an opportunity to be in that position. I thought that she was somebody that could be swayed. So if you had the Republicans in the House and the Senate, no matter how extreme left she may have appeared to be, especially with being caught talking about people in prison, being able to have sex change operations and all this stuff, I thought she was somebody that could be swayed, that she wasn't somebody that was going to have the power that we anticipate Trump will have. Trump just sat up there and turned two Republicans around to vote for Mike Johnson. Okay, we see that.
As of this morning, we're renaming the Gulf of Mexico.
How about that? I mean, this is Trump. And I certainly didn't see her having that kind of power. So it was safe. It was safe. I'm going to tell you when my mind almost changed.
Okay.
I had already voted down here when Barack Obama spoke to those black men in Pittsburgh and alluded to misogyny being the reason that they weren't voting for Kamala Harris. I was highly offended by that. Let's.
Yep. As was I. And, we talked about this before because it was important for me to bring this up in the show to the panel that we were on when we held a podcast about it. And we talked about Barack Obama basically calling out black men and calling them misogynists if they didn't vote for Kamala Harris. And it was one of the most ridiculous things that I've ever seen. And it was a desperate ploy by the Dems to, again, pull in more votes and rake in more votes for black men. And it turns out that, moreover, it worked because it's being reported that 70% at least of black men ended up voting for Kamala Harris. And I believe that that's a combination of several things. I believe it's a combination of being shamed into doing it by people like Barack Obama. And the other point is, I believe they were shamed into it by their wives and black women. They were shamed into voting for Kamala Harris. That's a fact. And before I continue, let me read some of these comments just to show you that black people only care about what you do with your time, with your vote, and with your money. They only care about it when it doesn't directly agree or prop up or contribute to or support them and what they think and their goals. If you're in opposition of any of those things, they will turn on you in a heartbeat. They will turn on you in a heartbeat. Y'all sat up there and y'all let them coax y'all. And this is the same thing that black women did with the Black Lives Matter movement. Y'all sat up there and y'all paraded around. And y'all encouraged people to donate to that sham-ass movement, that fraud-ass movement. And y'all built up millions of dollars for these black women that ran off and bought $1 million homes for not only themselves, but for their family members and brothers and sisters and aunties and shit. And left y'all with nothing. But again, it was another situation where y'all were goaded into it. Y'all were prodded into it. Y'all, ain't you gonna support the black community? Ain't you gonna they black, you black, y'all got the same skin. Ain't you gonna lift up Black Lives Matter? That whole movement was some bullshit. Founded on bullshit. And y'all supported it blindly because it was black people. Y'all gotta get out of this mentality, man, of thinking that everybody that's your color is for you. Everybody that's skin folk ain't kin folk. Y'all think just because y'all see somebody black that mean they got your best interests at heart. No, they got their own best interests at heart. Sorry. That's what's happening. That's the real. Look at these comments. Your barber was misinformed. Ha 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 ha. All skin folk ain't kin folk. Ain't that what I just said? Right here. Ain't that what I just said? But of course, I believe she's saying it and to denigrate Stephen A. because of his comments, because he had a change of heart. If Kamala would have won, he would have said the opposite. He just going where the wind blows. Okay, Uncle Ruckus. Yeah, we tired of you, bro. Wrap it up. A trained journalist was misinformed. Now you're misinformed because she lost. Must be looking for a spot on the Trump team. Let's boycott Stephen A. Smith. You can't do much to Trump, but you can turn off Stephen A. Smith. Call into his bosses, not attend his events, not share his content. And this got 1,800 likes, all because of the man said that he had a change of heart in his political views. Y'all are willing, y'all want to destroy. See what I mean? Do you see what I mean? It's right here in your face, y'all. As soon as you disagree with black people, the first thing they want to do is destroy you. That's the first thing they want to do is destroy you. He didn't say he hated Kamala Harris. He didn't say he hated black women. It was no hate speech anywhere. He said that he was misinformed and he made the wrong decision. He said that he was poked and prodded by the black community into voting for Kamala Harris. And he said he was tired of feeling that way. That's all he said. And what is the response of the black people? Let's destroy him. Call into his job. Call in and talk to his bosses and say what? You see what I mean? These radicalists. These people are unhinged. And they don't even see it. They don't even see a problem with it. They got 1,800 likes. The comments will always tell you the position mentally of the people and how off y'all are. Y'all gonna call into the man's job because you don't agree with him politically? It's absolutely insane to me. And let me tell y'all something. My mother is I'm not gonna go as far as to say that she hates Trump, but she severely dislikes him, okay? Openly. Will openly talk about how much she doesn't like Trump at all. There is nothing that my mother could have said to get me to put in a vote for Kamala Harris. And that's my mom. Love her to death. Would do anything for her. But there was no way that I was going to be poked, prodded, or goaded into voting for Kamala Harris just because she was a black woman going against a white man. I would hope that you would look deeper into the subject matter than just surface level bullshit. Because over here, all I was seeing from her campaign was her talking about women's rights getting taken away when they've had more rights than they've ever had. damn near to say they have more rights than black men. That's a fact. The entire time Kamala Harris ran, her campaign was about flashy bullshit. Let's appeal to black artists. Let's appeal to Cardi B and the Beyoncés. Hey, we're going to come to Detroit. Let's get Eminem to come out on stage and say, yeah, vote for Kamala. Okay, but what are your policies? What are you about to change for us? What are you about to implement that's going to change something? $6,000 for new births? How the fuck does that help the black community? Legalizing weed and marijuana? How in the hell does that help the black community? The policies were weak. Her arguments were weak. That's why she lost in a landslide victory. I have a lot of respect for people who are able. I said it before when I was talking about Jason Whitlock versus Stephen A. And I'll say it again now. I have a lot of respect for people who are willing and able to stand on their square and not be moved by their own convictions. People that are able to stand on their square, regardless of what everybody else thinks. If the world is against you, but you believe that you have good enough proof and resolve to stand on that square with factual data, then go ahead and stand there. That's a man. And to hear that so many men were turned all because other people wanted them to vote. If you don't vote, it was the equivalent. It was the equivalent of them telling you that if you didn't vote for them, you ain't black. Y'all remember that? And y'all sure fell for that. Listen, I'm done. I have nothing else for this. Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments. I'll see you on the next one.